property rights discussions that we had in previous sessions, we should start thinking about a truly European copyright law, a community copyright regulation to replace these existing directives and ideally have them preempt the national laws on copyright of the member states. The immediate advantage would be the dissolving of these territorial borderlines, the fact that we would become, as a European market, as competitive in that respect as the United States, where there do not exist 52 separate copyright laws, but one federal law. If we have the same in Europe, that would put us, in that respect, in a similar level playing field. There are many other advantages. I do not have time, obviously, to mention them, but only one I do want to mention, which is the fact that we could start rethinking copyright and rebalancing the sets of rights and limitations that are currently found in the directives and that have been tilted towards granting overprotection. In fact, an almost automatic result of 15 years of harmonization. I have more to say, but I'll leave it at that at this point. Thank you.
I think the next person to comment on this is maybe Antoine. Maybe. Are you ready?
I'm not ready at all, but yeah, I'm going to try to expose like some of Google ID, and also maybe change some perception that Google may have, well, that some people may have on Google when it comes to copyright. So I would actually take the opportunity of this presentation to use the example of some of our services to illustrate how we actually believe that the information society and development of the information society can actually help to better value copyright. There's one paradox in copyright, that is copyright is granted for 70 years after the death of the author's related right for a shorter period of time. And so that's the duration of the right on one side. On the other side, commercial availability of the works and commercial exploitation of the works last for much shorter than that. And this is due for for one reason, that is in the offline environment, the non-internet environment. There's some kind of limited shelf space, meaning that bookstore can only make available to their user a limited number of books. A video rental shop can only make available a limited number of video, and even on TV there's a limited number of broadcast time now. The digital environment has no such limits, so it's allowed more or less for any piece of content that has ever been created to be available from anywhere at any time. So this unlimited shelf space is leading to a change and an evolution of the way users are consuming content. And we see users that are not only like passively consuming content now, but that are increasingly active in content selection, distribution, and creation. Now, what does that mean for rights holder? It means that this unlimited shelf space, this possibility of making sure that your work can be made available for the full duration of copyright, is creating new opportunity for exploiting your rights over the full length of your rights. There's two major challenges to make that happen, and one is that you need to make sure that content can find its audience. The internet is bringing a large amount of content, leading to a situation where it's actually, I mean, users have access to a huge amount of content, and they have to find the content that is relevant and that makes sense for them. So one thing that is extremely important is to provide them with like the kind of search tool, and Google is obviously one of the leading provider of that kind of search tool, that will allow them to find the content that is relevant for them, so that they can if rights holder if then they can access this content, they will be able to provide some added value for a rights holder. So that's the second challenge. So the first challenge is make sure that content can find its audience in this new environment. So make sure that copyright allows actually for development of search technology that allows to search any type of content, so that to make sure that any user can get access, can find any piece of content that is relevant for him. Now, the second most important challenge is that making sure that the user can actually find the content is something important, but even more important is to make sure that the rights holder can actually value the access to the content. And that's where it's particularly important to work on new model to actually allow for valorization of copyright and new business model that actually allow user to get access to content for pay. And if I'm using, how long do I have?
You still have some time.
So if I'm using, I'm going to use two concrete examples from Google and two services that are controversial from a copyright point of view. One is Google Book Search. Google Book Search is a search engine that is allowing users to actually find books that are relevant for them, to actually make sure that they can then subsequently either buy these books or get access to it through a library. Now, the mere fact of copying the content has been called into question by rights holder, but remains that the main added value of the service is a search engine that is effectively allowing to improve access and facilitate access to books. A second example is YouTube. We have a fantastic platform to make a video platform, to make video content available. Anybody can upload content of the platform. We have 20 hours of video uploaded every minute on YouTube. Last week we were announcing that we had 1 billion video views on YouTube. Now, we are now developing models to make sure that we can, on one side, protect the rights holder, so to make sure that if they do not want to see their content on the platform, and if it has been uploaded by users, they can actually remove the content. But also on the other side, and that's where innovation is not only into technology, but innovation can be on business side as well. On the other side, if they are willing to leave their content and to monetize this new use, we're providing them with the business model that will allow them to monetize the use of their content on YouTube. So that's the kind of solution we are interested in working on, and talking about the copyright legal framework. We need to make sure that the European copyright legal framework needs to allow for that kind of development. And Professor Eugen also was mentioning the fragmentation of copyright legislation when it comes to exception or when it comes to licensing, and this is definitely an obstacle for development of such services.
Okay, thank you. I think I want to give the word now to Malte, and maybe you can share with us, the experiences in the relatively new online game industry, which apparently has been very innovative and finding new business methods, business models, to deal with the issue. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you. I want to go straight to answer to your question. I have actually a slide for you. When I started doing politics for game developers in Europe